It's time to hit the track then, as we embark upon another thrilling round of Formula One racing here at Imola. Welcome to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. 3.1 miles of track at Imola, featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula One tracks as it's taken anti-clockwise. Let's hope nobody forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight on the circuit and its only DRS zone.
Good evening, race fans. It is Pirate, of course it is. It's the only one you ever hear when you come here. This is Black Flag Racing TV, and this is an absolutely awesome evening of racing, starting right here with the Season 7 finale of Smoking Pirelli's Tuesday Evening League. How about that shizzle? It is at Imola, the second greatest racetrack in Italy, of course. And we have a two-way battle for the championship. But the first thing we need to do is have a look at what happened last week. So, last week we were at the Hungaroring, and this is how they finished. David Barry in the Aston Martin won that race ahead of Rose. Usually churns out on a Thursday evening, jumped into a Williams for the race last Tuesday and demonstrated why he is shoo-in for the Thursday Tier 1 Championship. Zach Johnson came in third in the Alfa Romeo. Naismith came in fourth in the Haas. But the most notable thing that happened last week is there's a particular commentator who is an idiot. And that commentator forgot to click the spectator button at the start of the race. And there ended up a car with his name written above it, driving the whole way around and actually finished the race. Not once did I actually drive in error at any time, but yeah, that's what it's most noted for, nothing else. The other one, to be fair, the other thing that was notable was the lack of the current championship leader, Chuckle Brothers. He is only a few points ahead of Skills Down, but we'll have a look at that in a sec. So that was your top 10. Turn that one off because you want that one. That was the, there were 20 runners, but I took myself off because it's absolutely ridiculous. I should be on there anyway. There we go. Is what it is. Right, anyway, moving on. That's how the Drivers' Championship looks going into this final round at Imola. Let's have it. 9 points clear for Chuckle Brothers. If he finishes ahead of Skills Dan, he wins the championship. It is that simple. Skills Dan, he knows what he's got to do. He's got to beat Chuckle, but he's got to... so I was just reading the message that come through. It says, from Big Salty Seawater, they're magical mank back on comms. How are you? Well, I'm really good, but I'm not a mank. I'm from London, mate. You can tell I'm from London because I speak properly. I'm only joking. Northerners can, of course, they can speak properly as well. But yes, back to what's got to be done. So Dusty, I think, has secured top three, uncatchable. So that's your top three. It's going to be Chuckle, Skills Dan, Dusty. I think Dusty's too far back to catch Skills Dan, although you never know. You never know. But Chuckle, it's one job and one job only, which is finish ahead of Skills Dan. And obviously they've got to score points, but I'm sure that their priority for both of them is to finish the race, of course, and get points. That's got to be the number one priority. But then finish where they can ahead of each other. There you go, Drivers' Championship. I'm waffling too much about that. Just looking at, are there any reserves that could, the luscious Londoner, let's have some of that. I like that, luscious Londoner. Yeah, I'm actually from Croydon, mate, but you know, is what it is. We can't all be perfect. Nat Packer's reserve in 14th place. No possibility of a top 10 for a reserve driver. So it is all works at teams drivers in that top 10. Constructors' Championship looks like this. Haas 20 points clear of Red Bull. So it's still all to play for the Constructors' Championship as well. Alfa Romeo 418 points in third place. They can be caught by AlphaTauri. Williams can also jump into that top little bit of the table. Mercedes too far back now in 6th. Aston Martin in 7th. Alpine can relegate Ferrari to last place. They could also, if they have an amazing race, the cruddy Croydon, that's perfect. I basically got my hair pulled back in a massive, really tight, no, I haven't, I'm bald. Yeah, the cruddy Croydon. Yes, so Alpine can, if they have an amazing race, can jump Ferrari and put Ferrari at the bottom of the pile. But it is all about Haas and Red Bull for the championship. So there's no irony in the fact that Red Bull is Skills Dan and Haas is Chuckle Brothers. It's Chuckle Brothers and Naismith, so they both need a good performance to guarantee they beat Red Bull. Skills Dan and Sean, good performance from them, and maybe, just maybe, we can have a Red Bull champion. We'll see. We will see what happens. I think we've got a full complement of 20 runners this evening. This, as far as I'm aware, I could be wrong. We've got obviously our usual bits and pieces for the evening, but I'm really looking forward to it. Imola is quite an interesting track, to be fair. The thing about Imola is that one, it's one of the few anti-clockwise circuits. The other thing as well is that it's only got one DRS zone. Now most tracks have two, sometimes even three, but not Imola. If you're going to overtake at Imola, it's going to have to be done purely on skill and slipstream, and it's not the easiest track in the world to overtake on either. I don't know what the weather's like yet. I'm sure that I will be informed once we have found out what the weather situation will be. I'm assuming... Oh, I think that's my son knocking on the door. Let me just check. Hold the line, caller. Yeah, I'm already in. Well, anyway, so we have just a few minutes to go before qualifying. It's going to be 32 laps here at Imola. Hopefully it's dry. We love a dry race for the final race of the season. But that's only the first of two great races this evening on Black Flag Racing TV. We've got the season finale here, and then we've got the start of season 7 for LNR straight afterwards. So after the interviews here, we will then jump across and start season 7 of another F1 league. But straight into qualifying we go. We'll do the full rundown once it starts. I love that shot there of Imola. It's a great shot. And yeah, I love this track. I think it's an awesome racetrack, especially the last two turns. It's not, of the two Italian tracks, it's not as good as Parabolica. Of course, it's not. It's a great corner, but it's not too shabby. Those last couple of corners as you head down, sweeping around the two left-handers at the bottom of the hill before you head back up into the. And to be fair, there's some quite quick corners here. I'm actually surprised they haven't put 2 DRS zones in, or maybe even 3. But we'll do an onboard in a minute with somebody, probably the current championship leader. Now, bear in mind that if Skills Dan does not win the championship today, he will hand over his current reigning champion crown to Chuckle. So that is, if there ever was an incentive to win the championship or to win this race, it's got to be to retain that championship. This is one of the only circuits you can drive and not want to kill yourself on. Yeah, it's not a bad circuit, actually. I quite like it. I haven't driven it for so long. So much broadcasting, not a lot of time to be driving. Right, so we'll have a full rundown of who we've got. I want to bring my track map up first. That's important for me anyway. There we go, so I can see where all the crashes are. Right, so Lee Craig in the pits. He's in the Ferrari. There's Shen. He's not out yet. And when's Chuckle coming out? Wait for Chuckle to come out so we can do it on board. There's Zach Johnson. He's coming out in the Alfa Romeo. We'll follow him around for the time being until Chuckle gets out on track. Explicit Simo also in the Alfa Romeo. He's on an out lap 2. There we go. Right, so anyone... Rose's racing again as a reserve, and he's going in a McLaren today. And you could very well see Rose crowned the Tier 1 champion on Thursday, when we're back with Smoking Pirellis for the final round of Tier 1, and that, if I remember rightly, will be at Portimao for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Not a big fan of Portimao. I cannot drive that racetrack. It doesn't matter how hard, well, to be fair, I can't drive any racetrack, but that particular one I seem to struggle with for whatever reason that might be. Right, still no Chuckle out on track. We have to do the onboard with him because we had something prepared for him last week. But at least I've managed to actually click the spectator button this time and not end up on track and wonder what the hell was going on. So let's have a full run to who we got. So Dusty Fakes, Black Box, not seen him race before. I think he's new. Cameron Poulter, Death Peacock, Naismith, the other Haas driver. He has a good race today alongside his teammate Chuckle. That's the Constructors' Championship sewn up. There is Skills Dan. He's coming out on track for his first hot lap. Red Bull, they are second in the Constructors' Championship, and he is currently second in the Drivers' Championship, just 9 points back. So it's all about the Skills and Chuckle show today. There he is. He's on his way out, ready for his onboard, and we'll get it prepared for him right now as he comes out the pits. And here we go on board, and we'll remove all of this stuff to make it nice and pretty before we go. Such a child, but absolutely worth it. And it's even funnier when it's actually his car. Can't believe I had that ready for last week and he didn't show up. I was so disappointed. But he's just warming up those tyres on that Haas as Explicit Simo puts in a 1:16.8. Now, if I remember rightly, and I think I do, I think the lap record around here for F1 is about 1:13. What the hell is what? What this? Yeah, that is I appreciate there are some of you out there that won't get that reference, but they were the Chuckle Brothers were a children's TV duo from the 1980s here in the UK, and that was their theme tune, and it's now his theme tune because it's his name. It's literally his name. So here we go. This is his hot lap. 16.5 for Wasted, 16.6 for Zach Johnson, 16.8 for Explicit Simo, and that is not how you take your hot lap. Very disappointed.
You can't park that there, mate.
So, that's interesting information from Drunk Pirate. He's not my brother. We have the same surname, but we're not brothers. At least we might not be. Yes, it is a championship, so you're absolutely right. But Skills Dan has won the Constructors' Championship 5 times in a row. So, no pressure. He's currently the reigning Drivers' Champion. So, this evening, he can win his 6th Constructors' Championship in a row. But that also requires an input from Sean 1993. This obviously won't be a good lap for Chuckle Brothers. So we'll see if he goes out, does straight on to another hot lap, which would be quite useful. But Skills Dan puts himself on pole. That's a 1:16.043. And David Barry, winner last time out at the Hungaroring, with a 1:16.066. There is nothing but a piece of paper separating those two on the track at the moment. Rose with a 16.1, and Chuckle comes into the pits, and we'll have to refuel and retire and start again. So look, we still haven't done a full on board with anybody yet that's on a hot lap, but we will find somebody soon and do that. Right, so there is Skills Dan. He is your current championship leader, and he's currently on pole, and he's joined on the front row by David Barry. Rose is on row 2 with the other brother, Chuck. To be fair, I think they missed a trick and not calling themselves Paul and Barry. But there we go. Lee Craig and Dusty Fates on row 3. Row 4 will be Wasted Zach Johnson, Black Box, and Explicit Semo on row 5. And at the moment, on his own on row 6 is Cameron Poulter. Still Shen and Sean, Barbarian Panda, who doesn't have sex ever, because apparently the pandas don't do that. Chuckle Naismith, the two Haas teammates, and Death Peacock, still to set a lap. 11 minutes left of quali. Waiting for Chuckle to come back out on track. Not only so we can play Sing Team, but also because we want to see, we want to do a nice little onboard that I promised him with his theme tune blaring out, of course. So fastest lap so far is a 1:16.043, and it's only, I could do the math here, couldn't I? It's 23 thousandths of a second difference between Skills Dan and David Barry out on the front row at the moment. It's from 6. So it's just, my Martin Brundle, Drunk Pirate, has just informed me actually it's not 5 Constructors Championships, it's 6. So this is for the lucky number 7. And being that this is season 7, he will have whitewashed everything. But we'll see if it actually transpires. So there couldn't be more pressure on Skills Dan today than he's got right now, because this is for number 7. This is to win every Constructors Championship since they started on a Tuesday. Right, so another shot for Chuckle. He's going to do the hot lap. This is his out lap at the moment. Just getting quicker and quicker and quicker and ramping it up. And of course we've got to get it ready, and here we go. Yeah, there we go. I should have made the theme tune long enough for a lap, shouldn't I? Everyone kindly getting out of the way, and you can see just how quick these corners here are at Imola. Into that's a purple sector 1. Into sector 2 he goes. That is, I think, a Red Bull up ahead, and hopefully it's not going to impede his lap here, because he is closing on the back of that Red Bull as we see him coming round this succession of left-handers. Then you've got a bit of a sort of quick left right-hander before you've got a big braking right-hander into 4th gear, then back up through the gears as you head down towards the penultimate set of turns. There's a nice little chicane there, a little right-left chicane, and the Red Bull gets way out of the way, which is exactly what you want to see for qualifying. Down into the last 2 turns, you've got this left-hander, you want to get this apex spot on so you can get the power down, get a good braking zone for that final turn, and then you're on the power through the gears up past the pit lane, and that is a lap done there. And it's not good enough for pole. It's a 16.070, 4 thousandths of a second slower than that of David Barry, which is good enough at the moment for row 2. So at the moment, the top 4 are separated by less than 5 hundredths of a second. It's insane. Well, in fact, it's just over 500. No, it is. It's less than 5 hundredths a second. 5 hundredths a second. That's nothing. Absolutely nothing. So you've got, so Drunk Pirate's got 2 Constructors Championships, and Skills Dan's got 6. That's insane. Insane. That's loads. I should turn it off now, because he's done his lap. He's finished his lap. Right, let's, we're over halfway through qualifying now. Let's have a full rundown. Everyone's put in a lap. So, Skills Dan and David Barry on the front row, separated by literally no time at all. Chuckle and Zach Johnson are on row 2. Row 3 is Rose with the other brother, Chuck. Lee Craig and Dusty Fakes on row 4. Naismith and Wasted are on row 5. Cameron Poulter with Black Box on row 6. Explicit Simo is with Shan on row 7. Sean in the Red Bull, that's way down there. If Red Bull want to win this Constructors' Championship, he needs to boost that car further up the grid. He is with Panda on row 8. And row 9 is Death Peacock with the Barbarian. As Rose, absolutely stonking lap. A 1:15.7. And Jizzy, how are you, man? That's just for you. I didn't even know you were racing today. But how you doing, Jizzy? Good to see you, man. Yeah. Right, so Rose with a 1:15.7. Now, if you consider that, before he put that lap in, the top 4 was separated by nothing, like quicker than you can do that, and absolutely nothing. And Rose's just taken essentially almost 3 tenths, or two and a half tenths out of Skills Dan. A quarter of a second he's taken out, and the top 4 originally was separated by 500ths of a second. Death Peacock. Yeah, it is. It's not one single gamer. It's a thrash metal band from Torquay. That's actually true. They wear they dress all in black except for these really colourful rainbow hats. David Barry. The gauntlet has been laid down by Rose, and David Barry says, "Thank you very much, I'll have some of that." And he puts himself on pole with a 1:15.7. So anything you can do, I can improve upon. To be fair, everybody's half watching Chelsea at the moment because it's quite funny to watch their demise. Yeah, less said about that. I should be quite ready. One of my boys is a traitor and is a Chelsea fan. The rest of us are all support a much better team than Chelsea. Well, not in terms of not in terms of ability, but in terms of better team to support. You're right, absolutely right, Drunk Pirate. He is another planet, but then David Barry's just laid down that, so he's catchable. That's the thing, right? Is as you know, most of the racing that I do on GT7. That's purely because I have a very limited amount of time to race, so I kind of stick to that with my little bunch of lads. Which to be fair, as a team, we're growing quite rapidly out into a lot of external world championships and stuff now. But we've got a guy that races with us who is insane, absolutely insane, another planet, out of this world driver. And he's uncatchable. I'm not even kidding when I tell you he's uncatchable. The only other champions we have are in tournaments that he doesn't compete in. Everything he races in, he is absolutely smashing it. Rose, you're right, is another planet. He's really quick, but the beauty of it all, as quick as he is catchable. We can just see Dusty there is now in the sub 116s. He's on road 2 ahead of Skills Dan with a 15.8. So people can go that kind of speed. And the thing about Rose that does stand him out though is that he is able. You have people who are one lap quick, and you have people who are just overall quick, and that's one thing that Rose is capable of, is lap after lap after lap of qualifying pace in the race, while managing tyres, while managing fuel. Very, very good at it. So, with 3 minutes left, everyone's going to pop out now and try and get their last little shenanigans of a lap in. David Barry and Rose on the front row. Dusty Fates with Skills Dan. Skills Dan winning the battle of Skills versus Chuckle. Right now on row 2. Chuckle just behind him though. Literally just behind him. So close he can feel his breath on the back of his neck in a very sensual way. They're on row 3, Chuckle and Zach Johnson. The other brother Chuck is on row 4 with Lee Craig. Naismith for Haas in 9th place on row 5 with Wasted. And then we've got...
Which one of these two, sir?
Oh, stupid. But I don't know why... It's inexplicable why this happens, right? Because my phone is busted, right? The screen in the middle's cracked. It's one of those foldy open phones. The screen in the middle's cracked. I haven't been able to use that for about a year, right? The screen on the front's got a big crack down the middle of it. It's absolutely fucked. None of the voice thing works. But whenever I'm broadcasting, it just picks up random words and tries to search for shit on the internet. It's ridiculous. It's the only time my firm works properly is when I'm not using it. But there we go. Where were we? Right, so top 10 Naismith black box. There, row 5. Wasted Cameron Poulter, row 6. Explicit Simo and Death Peacock, row 7. Shan and Sean are on row 8. Row 9 is Panda and Barbarian. Now Sean, he's letting the side down for the Constructors' Championship. Remember that Skills Dan has won 6 Constructors' Championships on the spin. This is for number 7. He needs his teammate to finish above Naismith for those additional points. At the moment, if they finished the race as they have currently qualified, then it will be the Haas team that win the Constructors' Championship, and we'll see. So it's 9 points is the difference. John Pirates are 9 points ahead Chucklers at the moment, so that's what he needs. He needs 10. I'm assuming that it's done on count back if they are equal on points, or kind of head-to-head kind of thing, who's got the most podiums and stuff. If that's the case, I haven't got a freaking clue. I probably could have done the research, but then that would have come out of my Red Dead Redemption time. And I wanted to play a couple of hours of that today because I've played it for ages, and I wanted to shoot things in the face, particularly other cowboys. I don't know why, quite homoerotic, I know, but I have everyone has their faults. Right, so anyone that's on a hot lap now, this is their last chance. If you're in the pits now, it's not happening. Lee Craig goes fast, he goes on to row 2 behind Dusty Fakes. That drops Skills down and Chuckle down. Right, so David Barry, who we're watching right now, he's into sector 2. I haven't seen a purple for him yet. He's done a 1:15.7. That's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do was bring up, get the right thing, he's up, there we go. I wanted to bring up some lap data so we can see where he's at. So he's just coming into sector 3 now. Again, he's not purple. That's not going to be an improvement. What about Rose? Is he going to be able to improve? That's a purple sector 2 for Rose. Can he do a purple sector 3 and jump on to pole position? David Barry currently holds that with a 15.7, but he's not going quicker. He's not going to improve. And he has finished he has improved actually. Did a 15.4, so he must have had a stonking last sector. But talking of stonking last sectors, that's Rose. Rose steals pole position from David Barry like candy robbed from a baby. Absolutely stonking lap. So there are 4 drivers. Goes sub 1:16. Skills Dan improves with a 15.8 and puts Lee Craig in between him and Chuckle. So it's going to be a fight to the death. And if anyone that's watching and not racing can keep an eye on the point situation between Skills and Chuckle, that would be awesome. And just keep me updated as to what their point situation is. I would do it, but I can't be bothered in all fairness. No, I will do it if someone else doesn't. But it's just a pain in the arse for me to do it if I've got people that can do it for me. But there we go. There is your pole sitter, Rose. Awesome pole position time for him. Thoroughly deserved. That was right. So we advance, we go to the race director, and we have the run through. So the Jamaican Rose in the McLaren on pole, joined by David Barry in the Aston Martin. Dusty Fakes get himself on to row 2 in the AlphaTauri, and he's got the current champion, Skills Dan, just behind him in the Red Bull. Then it's Lee Craig in the Ferrari, followed by Chuckle, the current championship leader in the Haas. Zach Johnson in the Alfa Romeo is joined by his teammate Explicit Simo. Chuck for Williams with Naismith, the other Haas driver. Black Box in the Aston Martin. Wasted in the Mercedes are on row 6. Row 7's Cameron Poulter for Williams. Sean for Red Bull. Shen in the AlphaTauri. Death Peacock in the Alpine. Panda and someone else at the back of the pack. I didn't make it through. It's not often I'll get all 20 done in 30 seconds. But it's because I talk too much. I could just say their names and then I'll be well done in plenty of time. Yeah, Dan is currently... I know he's behind, isn't he? I'm sure he's behind. I can check it. I'll show you because we can go in here. I've got it right here. That's last week. That's the one we want. That one. Chuckle is 9 points ahead going into this final race. There we go. never in doubt, really. Dusty has secured third by the looks of things, though. But a good race from him today could improve that gap back to fourth. So whatever happens, that's going to be your top three. I think whatever happens, Dusty is going to be third. I suppose he could. Is he close enough? Is he close enough? Big question. Just have a quick look. I don't think he is close enough, to be fair. No, he's not. Well, he could potentially nick second, but it would require, I think, I can't remember how the bloody points work. Why are you asking me? I don't know. I don't think he can. Ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about. So this is going to be a doozy. So
Everybody strap in!
because it's going to be an absolute doozy, without question. It's going to be a doozy. Just waiting for the timer to tick down. 20 seconds. 20 seconds to go, and then it's 30 odd laps. So 30 laps, 31 minute 15 laps, or thereabouts. It's probably going to be, race pace is probably going to be in the 16s and 17s. I can't imagine people chucking out 1 minute 15 laps every lap here, particularly when they're not on the soft compound tyres. Yeah. So there's the green lights, and they will go round and do a nice little parade up. Wave to the fans, everybody. So there you go. There's Rose in the McLaren. He will lead them out. David Barry in the Aston Martin. How good are Aston Martin in the actual F1 at the minute? I was on an F1 podcast on Friday. Shameless plug as a guest, and we were talking about sort of predictions for the season and stuff like that. And we were all pretty impressed with the delivery of the Aston Martin car and their improvement. But I don't think any of us expected to see Alonso quite so dominant outside of obviously Red Bulls. So yeah, really impressed with that. And it's a good car when it makes Lance Stroll look good. A man who literally couldn't get fired from his job if he tried. He could murder several people who would still keep his job because Daddy owns the team. So you'll never really know if he's there on merit, will you? Well, I suppose if he wins the World Championship, he will be. But yeah, that's not going to happen. Right, so yeah, David Barry second. Dusty Fakes will be third in the AlphaTauri. Skills Dan fourth in the Red Bull. Lee Craig in the Ferrari is fifth. Chuckle is starting sixth in the Haas. Zach Johnson Explicit Simo in the Alfa Romeo 7th and 8th. Chuck in Williams in 9th. Naismith 10th in the other Haas. As it stands, that would be good enough for Constructors' Championship for Haas. Black Box in 11th. He's in the other Aston Martin. Wasted in the McLaren AMG Mercedes. Cameron Poulter in the other Williams is 13th. Sean in the other Red Bull. Going to need a bit of an improvement if he wants to help them win a Constructors' title. He's 14th. Shen is in the other AlphaTauri in 15th. Death Peacock in the Alpine in 16th. Panda in the other Ferrari is 17th. That is Sean facing in the wrong direction. And Barbarian in the McLaren is 18th on the grid. So good to see that Rose and Barbarian are sandwiching all the other cars. We're going to go on board with Chuckle. Another reason that we can do this. We're not going to play the music because it's race start. Yeah, we want to see how good a start he gets. Right, here we go. That's 1, 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5 lights. They'll go out. And we are away here at Imola. Good start in front from anyone. Well, that's a great start from Chuckle. He's already up 1 place to 5th. There is his championship contender right there in front of him in the Red Bull racing car. Into turn 1. Through safely. No damage there. Couple of cars going wide. That looked like an Alfa Romeo going wide into turn 1. Explicit Simo dropping down a couple of places. But so far, everyone's alive. We haven't lost anybody. But Chuckle up to 5th place. Making the move. He's making the move on skills, Dan. Does he make it stick? Dan does not let that happen. He has to tuck in behind. But he is going for a race today. He absolutely wants to ensure he wins this on the racetrack. He doesn't want to put it down to, oh, if I finish behind him and how many points I need to finish behind him. He knows all he's got to do is be ahead. If he finishes ahead, it's his championship. He doesn't want to be doing math. He wants to drive. But Skills Dan currently holding him off. We do have some other drivers out there today, and we will talk about them. Excuse me, I'm getting a sore throat. Rose leads the way from David Barry. Half a second is the difference there. In terms of pace, they're very similar in terms of pace, and I imagine we'll see quite a good race from these two. Great race from them last week at the Hungaroring, and I think we'll see more of the same. Of course, Rose puts in the fastest lap because he's the first to cross the line. It makes sense, doesn't it? He's travelled the shortest distance. David Barry in second. Dusty Fakes is in third in that AlphaTauri. Skills Dan still in fourth. Started fourth is fourth. Chuckle Brothers has made up one place. He's in fifth place, chasing down Skills. He's on the medium. I think everyone's on the medium compound tires to start, are they not? Yeah, medium. Are they mediums? Yeah, they are mediums. Mediums for Skills Dan. Medium for Chuckle Brothers. Lee Craig in the mediums on the Ferrari. Chuck is in that Williams. He's got Cameron Poulter, his teammate, tucked right in behind him, and they are both on medium compound size. Naismith in the other Haas. He's on the medium. I think everybody started them. I could just do this, really, couldn't I? It would make my life so much easier if I just did that, rather than scrog through all the cars. So we've got Sean, the other Red Bull. He's gone for a different approach. He's gone for the hard compound size. So he's kind of hoping that there isn't a safety car. They run longer. He can stay out, gain some places while people are in the pits, and maybe stop this race to the end, and nick some places, and maybe, just maybe, secure the Constructors' Championship for Red Bull, and to give Skills Dan an unprecedented 7th Constructors' Championship title. Hard tyres also for Black Box. He's going for the same approach in that Alpha. No, it's not. It's the Aston Martin. And we just see Panda on the soft compound tyres, who's made that move up into 14th place. And you know, if you're running the softs at this stage of the race, that is a Haas out. That is a devastating blow for the Constructors' Championship. Naismith out of this race, and we have our first safety car. I think it's a virtual. But it's such a shame we can't replay what happened there to Naismith. But in the battle for the Constructors' Championship, the first blow has been landed by Red Bull, and Naismith out of this race, and it will score nil points. I think that's a full safety car incident as well. So they're going to have to mop up bits of Naismith, put him in a bucket, and drag him back to the pits and wheel him out next season. So full rundown, shall we? No one's going to go to the pits. It's far too early to need any of that. Rose from David Barry, Dusty Fakes from Skills Dan, and let's have a look at improvements for everybody, shall we? Business changes is the one we want. So the top four unchanged. Dusty Fakes third, Skills Dan in fourth. Chuckles gained 1 place. He's up into 5th position. Lee Craig down 1. He was 5th. He's now 6th in the Ferrari. Chuck is up 2 in the Williams. Cameron Poulter up 5 in the other Williams. Zach Johnson in the Alfa Romeo has lost 2 spots. He's down into 9th place. Panda and Shen both going in the pits. Panda I can kind of understand because they were on the soft compound tyres, but not sure why it's a good idea for Shen, unless of course they've got some damage they want to repair and they want a nice free pit stop in which to do it. We will see. Sean in the Red Bull, he's up 4 places into 10th place. Wasted up 1 in 11th. Explicit Simo's lost 4 places down in 12th in the other Alfa Romeo. Black Box in 13th place, down 2 from qualifying in 11th. Death Peacock up 2 places in 14th. Barbarians gained 3 up to 15th place. Panda has gained 1 and has already had 1 free pit stop switched on to those medium compound tyres. And Shan has put some mediums on in the AlphaTauri and is running 1.2 seconds back from Panda, who's 24 seconds off the back of the pack, which is following around the safety car currently, the Aston Martin safety car. Flashy, flashy, flashy. Right, let's get me Pepsi open because my throat is hurting. It's not a beer, I know it sounds like it, but it's not. So Rose leads the way at the moment in the McLaren. And of course he's a reserve driver, which is why you see him in different cars each week. He's a full-time driver, of course, on Thursdays, where he could very well, I think he may have already secured the championship. But if he hasn't, he certainly can on Thursday. But I've got a feeling he's already done enough to win that. I didn't check the table, but I will do. David Barry in second. We're hoping the safety car goes in very shortly. We haven't seen any DRS yet. There's only one DRS zone anyway, but we haven't seen any because the safety car came out before DRS was activated. We've lost Naismith. That's a massive blow to Haas, who currently in the race for the Constructors' Championship. And we can take a quick look at that while we're behind the safety car. Let's do that. So if we have a quick look at the Constructors' Championship, that's where we stand for the Constructors right now. 20 points clear is Haas of Red Bull, but with only one car on the track, it's going to be very, very difficult to stop Red Bull from closing that gap. Very difficult indeed. It's now, really, it's kind of out of Haas' hands, and it's fully in the hands of Red Bull. As it stands right now, Red Bull, not Haas, will be the Constructors' Champions, and Skills Dan, whether he is Drivers' Champion or not, will have an unprecedented 7 Constructors' Championships in a row. You've got to wonder what it is. Clearly, he's one of the top drivers, which is why he scores the big points. But he's obviously lucking out with some teammates chipping in some really, really good points towards that title. Because, look, let's bear in mind, it's not a one-man thing, the Constructors' Championship. You're relying on other cars or your teammate to help you out. So, safety car is in this lap. Let's see if... I want to go on board with Lee Craig, because up ahead will be Chuckle and Skills. And those two will... want to be getting away as quickly as possible. Hopefully gain a place or two if they can. Rose will clearly be the de facto safety car role, which is peeled round that second left-hander and off into the pits now. We'll go around this, the penultimate turn, then we've got this left-hander, and then it's down to Rose to pick the time to go. It's quite a long straight here, very dangerous position to be in. Chuckle Brothers going off after Skills after Dusty Fakes. Dusty after David Barry, and David Barry after Rose, but they all seem to get away quite well. No one losing out, not enough slipstream to get anyone through. Cameron Poulter, behind, makes a move on Chuck, and up into 7th place for him. That's a good position gained there in that Williams. He's now well in for a driver of the day. Death Peacock making a move on Explicit Simo. I'm just looking down. Barbarian, is he going to make a move here? He's just tucked in there behind Panda, but got Shan as well, crawling all over the back, trying to make some moves on him. Very, very close. Without, as it stands, Chuckle is winning. There needs to be a gap between them. That is 2 cars spinning. That is Panda and Barbarian, who haven't read the signs. And the signs say this.
You can't park that there, mate.
So they need to get their cars back on the road. It's just a yellow flag. Panda is back underway, of course. 5 places lost for Explicit Simo, down in 13th. And you see Zach Johnson making a move on Cameron Poulter, and Chuck Brothers has got ahead of his teammate up into 7th. But this is the battle for the championship we're looking at right now. It's Chuckle chasing down Skills Dan. As it stands right now, Chuckle will win the championship because it's a 9-point difference he currently leads by. And if someone could do the math, how many places ahead does Skills need to be? How many cars does Skills need to have between him and Chuckle in order to usurp him at the top of the championship table? Please, Martin Brundle on the sky pad, on the black flag pad. If we can work that out, that'd be awesome. But that is the current battle. But Chuckle will know. We're on board with Chuckle. We haven't done that. To me, to you. He will know. I guarantee you, at some point today, he has sat down with a pen and a piece of paper. Well, I suppose. Depends how old he is. If he's done it with a pen and a piece of paper, or he's done it with an iPad or his phone, and worked out all the different scenarios of where he needs to finish in comparison to where Skills Dan is. And I think Skills Dan has done exactly the same. And if either of them told me they didn't, they're lying, because I would if I was in that position, and I think most people would. You know what you got to do, but you know, it's one of those things you got to work it all out. So now we have DRS. This is where it gets interesting. Rose has done everything in his power to make sure he doesn't give any of that away. So he's actually pulled out a 2-second gap in the lead from David Barry. So Dan needs P2 if Chuckle stays P5. That's quite a big ask, because David Barry is super quick. I think it might be a case of so essentially Skills down stage 4, Chuckle's going to need to drop down to something like 7th or 8th to account for that 9-point differential. Interesting. So Rose leads the way, 2.5 seconds now, he is clear. Dusty Fakes is going to get some DRS off the back of David Barry. Only the one DRS zone, which runs the entire length, pretty much, of from the start-finish line, or just before the start-finish line, right to the end of that straight and into turn 1. It's one of the longest DRS zones in Formula 1. But we've only got the one on this track. Surprised we haven't got one that runs between kind of in that long stretch in sector 3, or maybe still at the beginning of sector 2. There's certainly space there to put a little cheeky one in, but alas, there is not. So there we go. That's the first opportunity to see some DRS. There's Dusty Fakes. He's got that rear wing open. Can he get close enough up into turn 1? Rear wing slam shut, and he's not going to get another opportunity now for an entire lap. Skills down 1.4 seconds back. He's not picking up any DRS from Dusty, but Chuck is picking some up from him. It won't be a great deal, as 6/10 is the gap. Now, neither of them are going to want to do anything stupid. Neither of them are going to want to push too hard and, you know, wear out their tyres too soon, burn through their fuel too soon. But they will be acutely aware of the kind of pace they need to put in. Chuckle clearly in the driving seat. Well, of course he's in the driving seat. He's in a freaking car. But you know what I mean. He's in the best position of the two of them right now. Because if it finishes as it is, he is champion. He just needs to be able to see at the back of Skillsdown's car for this to be sorted. And we've got another safety car. And I don't know why that is. Is it because Barbarian is going incredibly slowly? There he is. He's got a front wing. Has he got a front wing? I can't see properly. It looks to me like he's still got his front wing. Don't know who it was that span, but he's 5 seconds back. Panda is 9 seconds back from that. This is another safety car. Does anyone go in? Rose opts to jump in, lap 9 of 32. David Barry and Dusty Fakes in. Skills down, what's he going to do? He's coming in. Chuck following him in. And I imagine it's very much going to be, whichever of the two of them is behind the other one, it'll do what they do kind of scenario. Cameron Poulter stays out on the Williams, as does Black Box and Shan. Shan did pit in the first safety car. So, yeah. How you doing, Nathan? Yeah, it didn't work out too well for you, did it, buddy? Yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult now, I think, with looking at where they are right now, and once the pits have kind of sorted themselves out, it's going to be very difficult for Haas to keep the Constructors' Championship now, my friend. But we'll see. Listen, it's a long race. We're only on lap 10. This is the second safety car already. We could have more crashy, and then we'll see what happens. So, let's have a little rundown. Cameron Poulter leads the way. He chose not to pit under this safety car. Neither did Black Box, neither did Shan. Panda didn't this time, but did in the first safety car. Rose was the race leader, currently running in 5th, but once those cars ahead finally go in and do some pitting, I'm sure he'll retake the lead of this race. Well, he may well. Sorry, the what? The rain? Is there going to be rain? Did someone say there's going to be rain? Awesome! That's gonna mix shit up, isn't it? Oh, please tell it. Do you know, I did say at the beginning I don't want it to be rain, but I think I do. I think I'd like to see it change up and there to be some rain on the horizon. Can you confirm, Cameron Poulter, you're not just messing with me, and that there is actually going to be some rain, or at least it's been advertised as rain? But Rose, he's come back out on the, I think it's the medium. No, it's not. He has. He's come back out on the medium tyres. David Barry also come back out on the medium tyres under safety car. Dusty Fakes and Skills Dan have both gone for the hard compound tyres. Hello Avalon, I'm not joining you. I should have put it on Do Not Disturb. I'm not doing it now. Too late. I forgot. See, I always forget to do something. Last week I forgot to bloody check it as a spectator. So you can't get much worse than that really as a broadcaster. But yeah. Oh, Cameron always plans for rain. Well, we'll see. 10 minutes, he says. He sounds very sure about that. That's going to be towards the tail end of the race as well. Well, past the midway point anyway. Yeah, Dusty Fakes has gone on the hard compound tyres. Skills Dan also on the hard compound tyres. So they're planning to run really, really long. Barbarian now separates Skills and Chuckle. So that's a little bit of a benefit for Chuckle because Barbarian, well, but saying that Barbarian hasn't pitched yet. So how long he stays out and how long he can keep Chuckle behind him, two really key factors. Chuckle's also on the hard compound tyres. Lee Craig is on the hard tyres. Chuck on the mediums. He's done what he's fresh mediums there, has wasted fresh hards. Sean's on the fresh mediums. Explicit Simo, Death Peacock, both on brand new hards, and Zach Johnson also on, no, he's not on the hards one, he's on medium compound tyres. Naismith is also on medium tyres, but they are stacked up next to the broken pieces of his face that he put into a wall. So Cameron Poulter leads the way, waiting for the rain to play. And I just wrote that. I'm like Lady Gaga. That's going to be my #1 hit. I'm going to wear some meat to the Oscars or the VMAs or whatever it was she wore meat to. So here we go. Let's go on board with Rose. So Cameron Poulter takes on the job of safety car. We are back underway. Lap 12 of 32. 20 laps remaining here at Imola. 20 laps remaining of race 10. 20 laps remaining of this season. And 20 laps until we crown a new champion or a returning champion. We'll soon find out. So Rose trying to make the move on Panda and already up the inside makes the move. It's not got the inside line there, just very close to the gravel. Side by side they are. This is not fully done yet, but now it is. Now Rose gets the job done and is up into 5th place as David Barry making a move on Dusty. Trying to keep up with him. He makes the move on Panda as well. And up into 5th place goes Panda. Panda's back into 5th. So Panda keeping David Barry behind as Dusty Fakes pulling the big moves on Skills Dan. Chuckle is past Barbarian, of course, and up into 9th position for Chuckle. So he's where he needs to be, which is tucked right in behind Skills Dan. And where he really likes to be is in front of Skills Dan, because it is his turn to go on top, apparently. David Barry does finally get around Panda and can continue his chase on the back of Rose, but 1.4 seconds is currently that gap as he starts to open up. That's the first penalty of the race. That is a 3-second time penalty for Chuck for ignoring the rules, brethren. Cameron Poulter leads the way 0.8 of a second over Black Box. Can he use the superior grip on those medium tyres while it's still there to pull away a little bit? Shannon's already pit previously, is up into 3rd with 9 laps on those medium compound tyres. Rose, brand new shiny tyres. 3 laps for him, 3 laps for David Barry. They are starting to work their way back up to the front of the pack. Chuckle is the rain master this season. So Cameron Poulter predicts rain in about 10 minutes. And we've got some talented rain drivers out there. Now the thing is, it's where the rain comes, it's whether there's a safety car or not, it's where that safety car, or where the cars are on the track during a safety car, as to how quickly they can get in and put on the and do they put on the inters, do they put on the wets, do they stay on the slick compound tyres in the hope that it doesn't stay wet for very long. It's a lot of stuff to think about when if and when that happens, and that could change the shape of this championship. DRS is re-enabled after the safety car, and there we're watching Rose, who's trying to make the move on Shan up into the top 3. Remember, Shan ahead has already pit, but he's going to have to pit again at some stage, and Rose does get into that top 3, and he'll want Shan now just to hold up David Barry for a little while, just to make it difficult for David Barry to chase him down. But let's be fair, this guy is very quick. There's a reason he was on the front row after qualifying. It's because he knows what he's doing, and he had a great win last week at the Hungaro Ring just to prove that. He is half a second back from Shan at the moment. Shan doing a good job of just keeping the car in the right place. Quick check-in on the 2 championship contenders. Their skills down for Red Bull. As it stands, Red Bull will be Constructors Champions, but still plenty of racing to be done. Skills down in 7th. Chuckle, the current championship leader, 9 points clear in the championship, is just behind him on the racetrack, and that will be enough to take the win for the overall championship. And considering he didn't race last week, that's a pretty damn good points scoring. His brother is directly behind him, just 4 tenths back. Now he's on better tyres. This is the question: is there going to be any brotherly love here? Is he going to just? I was going to ask the question: is he going to leave his brother alone and not attempt the overtake? But the answer to that question is a resounding: he doesn't give a shit whether it's his brother or not. He's taking that place. He's up into 8th place and separates the 2 championship contenders. Can he now go and pull some moves on Skills Dan, who is 1 second clear and was briefly out of the DRS zone for Chuck? Looking at the back of the pack, Panda has tanked down through the order, absolutely tanked through the order. We saw the front runners making moves on Panda up in that sort of top 5 and 6. Now way down in 17th place, 17 seconds back in that Ferrari. Explicit Simo moving up from 15th to 16th. That's Barbarian. He's on the grass.
You can't park that there, mate.
That's not where you drive the car. You drive on the black bit, not the green bit, and that drops him down to 16th place. 3.5 seconds now. That's a massive corner cut. Abusing track limits like a priest with a small child. Explicit Simo in 15th place is not too far, 6 tenths behind Death Peacock, who is running in 14th and diving into the pits after just five laps on those hard compound tyres. To go straight onto the mediums, odd choice. Unless I think there might be a wing repair going on as well. That's why there was also a wing repair going on. So Death Peacock, Barbarian now 17th, 16th, Panda 15th, Explicit Simo in 14th. Zach Johnson, teammate, just ahead, 7 tenths ahead in fact. And it's 3 seconds too wasted in the only Patronus AMG Mercedes on the racetrack at the moment. Sean, the other Red Bull driver, will score points there in 11th. That will help Red Bull secure the Constructors' Championship and an unprecedented 7 in a row for Skills Dan. Lee Craig, just inside that top 10 in the Ferrari. He's 1.1 seconds behind Chuckle as Chuck Brothers makes the move on Skills Dan and pushes him back towards his brother. So actually, going past his brother is one thing, but what he's doing now is he can actually hold up Skills Dan and send him back towards his brother. And I think we have another safety car because it's all gone very, very slowly. Who is facing in the wrong direction again? So, diving into the pits this time, Cameron Poulter is in. Needed to, did 16 laps on those tyres. Shan is in. Sean is in. As is Zach Johnson as well, all going into the pits under this safety car. So we've had 3 safety cars now. We're on lap 17 of 32, just past the halfway point. We are only 15 or so laps now. 15, that's it, laps from the end of this season. 15 laps from finding out who the champion is. 15 laps from finding out who the Constructors' champion is. 15 laps from... I'm just having a look to see if he's on the wets. That's a good idea. He's not. He's on the soft compound. I don't know why I did that. He's on the soft compound tyres. So, was he messing with everyone by suggesting there was going to be some moistness on the track? Or does he genuinely... Has he put those softs on so he can have a quick blast before it gets wet, knowing that he's going to have to change them out after a few laps anyway, because they're quite... because they're soft and they're going to get burnt out relatively quickly. So nobody yet on the wet compound tyres. There's no sign, to be fair, of rain. It looks quite all right. I'm looking at them. The sky's very dull and grey, but you know, that's what happens when you look at dull and grey skies. But it could be raining. It could rain. Right. So this is how it currently looks. Black Box has stayed out. Done 16 laps now on those hard compound tyres. It's up into second place. Yeah, it's when he was stuck behind, when he was ahead of Chuck, it was a precarious kind of situation to be in. Now he's in between them. He's basically he's the meat in a Chuck Brothers sandwich. So the brothers are the bread, and Skills is a little tasty piece of pastrami covered in mayonnaise that's going to get chowed down upon by the two. Right, there we go. So we asked about the rain, and there we go. Inters for Wasted, Simo, Cameron, and Shan. Is it going to get... Well, it's not looking that damp yet, but I think they're planning ahead. I think they're planning. They know the rain's coming. They know they're under safety car. It's not really going to cause them a problem at the moment. But when it does come down and the safety car comes in, they want to be ready. And the best time, clearly, to do it is going to be under the safety car. But who else is going to do it? If you're at the back of the pack, it makes absolute sense to do it now under the safety car. If you're at the front, if you're Chuck or Chuckle or Skills or Dusty or David Barry or Rose, you don't want to risk losing track position now, because you're going to be way, way down the order. I think Black Box, 17 laps on those hard compound tyres, I think it would be foolish of Black Box not to put on the intermediate tyres now. They have to stop imminently anyway. It's not a case of they can hang on for a little bit. Those tyres are already on the way to being shot. So good idea of it coming now. Maximise your loss, or minimise your loss, because it's going to be, if you have to come in a little bit later, it's going to be a nightmare. I do apologise for my dog shouting in the background. Just unnecessary. Winding the dog up. Children. Right, so Rose into the pits. He's decided that it is safer to put on those tyres. David Barry, he's not too bothered. He's decided to stay out behind the safety car. And this is what I mean about track position. Look how Rose has tanked down the order, putting on the intermediate tyres. Everybody, bar Chuckle has opted to stay out on the hard compound tyre. Has he? No, he hasn't. He's now out on the inters. He's now on the inters. Everybody on the inters except for Barbarian, Chuck, and David Barry. They are brave. Very, very brave. Barbarian, having just put on hard compound tyres, didn't want to go in again. So, Cameron indeed is the rain whisperer, and it will spice this right up. So this is how it stands now, looking at the championship table. Skills Dad is still one place ahead of Chuckle, but it's now wet, and we've seen how good Chuckle is in the rain. The other question is, how long does it stay inters for? Does it move from inters into wet territory? We can just see. You can just see the specks of rain coming down now. Safety car, of course, is still out. And so it's going to be, how long does it rain for? How hard does it rain? How quickly do we go onto wet? Or do we not? Do we go back onto slicks before the end of this race? So safety car coming in this lap. We'll soon find out how slidey it is. We're going to go on board with Wasted for the restart. Wasted is the highest wet tyre runner. The 3 cars ahead of Barbarian, Chuck and David Barry are all still on slick, dry tyres. David Barry and Chuck 9-lap-old medium tyres as well. So just coming round the last turn, the safety car pulls into the pits. Now David Barry decides, I'm the safety car, I decide when we go. And look at the difference in the traction on the slippery track. And Wasted blasts past Barbarian up into the top 3. Barbarian, I think, is going to tank down this order very, very quickly. And you can see Cameron Poulter making a move. But Barbarian, under braking, strangely, that part of the track just seems to be... well, it seems to have worked. Cameron Poulter is making moves, making big moves. He's up into 4th, and that's Wasted, dropping down the order. So Barbarian actually, Chuck, David and Barbarian actually not suffering too badly under these wet conditions. So you're right, Drunk Pirate. It's is it a risk staying out? Well, I thought so. When you look at the top guys, when you look at guys, look at Rose, you look at Chuckle, you look at Cameron, you look at Skills Dan, all of them weren't messing around, went in for the intermediate tyres. But then David Barry, Chuck and Barbarian, they're not interested in all that. They want to stay on the slicks. And it's a 3-second time penalty for David Barry, which could come into play in this race later, particularly if he's in and around Skills and Chuckle, because it could change the shape of the points here. I thought for a minute there, David Barry, Chuck and Barbarian were going to carve into the pits there, but they have stayed out for another lap. So they clearly don't feel that it is worthy of putting on wet compound tyres. And it's very difficult to see how good or bad a judgment call that is. Because at the moment, no one's really... Cameron Poulter's 1.2 seconds behind Barbarian. But they're not dropping off significantly. So where is that turning point? Is there a point at which this kind of flips on its head? That the intermediate tyres at the moment are not quite right for the track. It's not quite wet enough. But at some point it will be. And at that turning point is when those runners out front, David Barry, Chuck and Barbarian, on the slick tyres have to come in. And those guys that have preempted the rain by going on to the intermediate tyres during the pit window or during the safety car window are going to get the advantage. We've lost now Panda. He's the second DNF from this race. The rundown looks like this. David Barry leads by 0.3 of a second from Chuck Brothers. They're both on the slick medium tyres still, despite the fact the track is now damp. And they're coming in. Well, no, only one of them is. David Barry's coming in. Chuck is staying out. He is now de facto leader. So, clearly, David Barry tried something. Hasn't worked. He is now down where? Where does he come back out? He is diving through the order. 13th, 14th. That is devastating for David Barry. It's going to be very difficult for him to do anything. And has he just come back out? He's come back out on hard compound tyres. David Barry doesn't care for this rain stuff. Wasted has switched out as well. Sean has switched back to slicks as well. So it looks like it hasn't rained enough. The rain is not making the track enough. And yeah, so this is turned right on its head. And now you're saying Chuck has to stay out now until safety car. You're assuming there's going to be one. There might not be one. It's a very big assumption to make that there's definitely going to be a safety car. I mean, look, the statistics bear that there probably will be. There's already been a couple, or 3 in fact, 22 laps in. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there is going to be another one. And if you're relying on a safety car, then you could be... How long do you risk it for? That's essentially the question I'm asking. And we say that, and straight away, what happened? Lee Craig puts his car in a wall and a safety car. So that's that theory of there might not be one busted. That's going to save everybody on the intermediate tyres from eternal embarrassment as they all dive in. Now, Cameron Poulter stays out. He was the one that made the first judgment call for the intermediates. He was the one that suggested it was going to be wet. Rose stays out. Simo stays out. Dusty Fakes, Black Box, Skills Dan. They're all actually staying out. It's Chuck Barbarian, Death Peacock, and Shen all into the pits this time out. But everybody else that's pit so far is now coming back out on slick tyres. Now, if this track is not wet enough, and it doesn't ever reach that turning point, those guys currently on the intermediates that have decided not to capitalise on the safety car could be in trouble. Equally, they could be, this could be a genius master track because it could get much, much heavier, much, much quicker. But, I mean, it's really strange. Look, again, people are going in and changing their minds again. So, intermediates. So some of these people are pitting so many times. It's ridiculous. Look how many pit stops. 5 pit stops for Sean, 4 for Wasted, 3 for David Barry, 4 for Shan, 5 for Death Peacock, and everybody else is 2s and 3s. So they came in as like, okay, we'll put on slicks. Come out on the slicks, realised it was a stupid idea, and have got to go back in on the wet compound tyres. So it has reached that turning point, and not staying out on the track has been devastating. Absolutely devastating for David Barry. He could have stayed out. He should have probably stayed out for as long as he, well, until such time as he was ready for these intermediate tyres. Now he has got an enormous uphill battle to go anywhere near the front of this pack now. So safety car number 5. I think this is now safety car number 5. Yeah, you're absolutely right. With Sean having 177 pit stops, that puts him down in 15th. So that would be a big points haul for Haas. They're already 20 points clear, of course, so that will negate some of the fact that Naismith's dead. That will actually, yes, it will make Haas the Constructors' Champion as well. Interesting turn of events. Love it when thingy goes different. So, Cameron Poulter leads the way. He is the Rain Whisperer, and he's on the intermediate compound tyres. The next big question is, does it go to full wet between now and the end of the race? 8 laps left. Does it get full wet? Excuse me while I choke to death. Right, so Death Peacock, medium tyres. He's either a genius or he's been touched by some sort of brain disease. And that explains a lot. Death Peacock out of this race. They are dead on the track somewhere. There they are. Look, crashed, facing in the wrong direction. Death Peacock, let me tell you something, mate.
You can't park that there, mate.
You can't indeed. So, it is wet weather tyres needed all round. That doesn't help for the safety car coming in. It's lap 24 of 32. Safety car still coming in this lap though. Doesn't care that the Death Peacock is gone. They're still going to come or go racing. So safety car in this lap. Let's go on board with... let's have a look from Zach Johnson and see, because he's behind Chuckle, of course, and we'll see if these guys ahead make any moves on each other. It is literally cat and mouse at the moment. Cat and mouse. Not a lot of... No one's taking any... doing something different to try and take a risk. And waiting for Hammer to go down, and down it goes. Of course, there'll be no DRS while it's moist. Cameron Poulter leads from Rose from Explicit Simo. That's his top 3. Then we've got 3rd in the championship, Dusty Fake in 4th place. Black Box in 5th, Skills Dan currently running in 6th place with Chuckle, who, if he finishes there in 7th, will be champion. On board at the moment with Zach Johnson, currently running in 8th place. Behind him is the Williams driver, Chuck Brothers. He's running in 9th. He's got behind him a very probably, I assume, quite pissed off. Chuckle Brothers and Skills Dan are battling it out. Chuckle wants to win this by making the overtake. He was briefly ahead. He couldn't hold it. Skills Dan just pushed him back behind and said, no, if you're going to win this, you're going to have to do it the hard way and do it by maths. And Chuckle again, looking up the inside, trying to find a way through. This battle is absolutely going to rage on. Chuckle is not happy with just winning this championship by finishing 1 place behind him. He wants to overtake him. He wants to make sure that he is ahead when they cross the line and negate any sort of penalties or anything like that that could potentially scupper this championship for him. David Barry's going to be pretty pissed off back there in 10th. He was in a really, really strong position to win this race, or at least put some moves on Rose, who's at the moment struggling to get past Cameron Poulter up in the lead of this race. So Panda has left the session. And we've lost Naismith, we've lost Panda, we've lost Lee Craig and Dirth Peacock from this race. We're left with just the 14 runners. Lap 26 of 32. This is the season 7 finale at Imola. This is the battle between Chuckle and Skillsdown for the championship, and something needs to change. If Skillsdown wants to win this, he needs to make some overtakes and hope that Chuckle can't follow him, or that Chuckle doesn't finish. And I'll tell you something, he is not going to make any risky moves and risk crashing out of this race. As it stands, I'm reliably informed that Haas will win the Constructors' title. They're 20 points clear currently. Naismith crashed out really, really early on, a couple of laps into this race, and that could have very much cost them that Constructors' title. But with Sean doing 11 to 12 pit stops, he's down in 12th place. He's not scoring big points. Skills himself not scoring big points, but he's only back in 6th. I say only. He's got Chuckle behind him, and he's got some very, very quick guys ahead. Excuse me. I don't know what I'm coming down with, but it's not good. So we've got this. We've got 5 laps remaining, and you'll probably see an invite jump up on my screen in a minute, because straight after this we go into round 1 of the Late Night Racing League F1 here on Black Flag Racing TV. But for now, this battle is Chuckle versus Skillsdown. Can he catch him? He's trying. He's certainly looking to see if there's a way through. Having a look up the inside there. No doings there. So he's just going to tuck in, stay tucked in behind. For the time being, he's not making the big move up into to try and push up into 6th place. Skillsdown has to do something if he wants to win this championship. He's got to catch and pass Dusty Fakes. He's got to catch and pass Black Box and hope that Chuckle doesn't do the same thing. But that's how it stands right now. The track is wet, it is damp, it is staying that way. We're going wet till the end. No DRS for anybody, just slipstream and your own skills. Skills that Cameron Poulter is hoping will keep him ahead of Rose. Rose and Cameron Poulter's pulling away as the front two, the Williams and the McLaren. I'll tell you what, it is a thing of beauty seeing Williams and McLaren at the front of Grand Prix. It's been a long time, and it's well overdue. Although it's not going to happen this season because, only Williams have improved significantly, but McLaren have gone backwards. So Cameron Poulter lead from Rose. They are 3.8 seconds clear of Explicit Simo running in 3rd place. He does have penalties. How many penalties? Loads of penalties is the answer. Chuckle's still behind Skills, of course. Penalties is there. He's got 3 seconds worth of penalties. As Skillsdown makes the move on Dusty Fakes, but Chuckle straight through as well. So no doings there. It's not going to help him. Not going to help him in the slightest. Remember, the gap is 9 points at the top of the championship. He will need to finish at least, I think, 2 places ahead in order for that to have any effect. McLaren GP2 this season. Yeah, absolutely GP2. You're right about that. So, Dusty Fakes dropping down to 7th. Skills and Chuckle, as though it's almost like they're the human centipede of race cars. That whatever Skills does, Chuckle does. They're just moving in unison, absolutely sticking together. One pits, the other pits. One changes to these tyres, the other one changes to these tyres. It is all about copying each other. Neither of them want to be the one that makes the crazy choice. Cameron Poulter and Rose still out in the lead, 6.1 seconds now. That 3-second penalty for Explicit Simo will drop him behind Skills and Chuckle, probably Dusty Fakes and Zach as well. Skills Dan, I thought he was making a move there, but Explicit Simo dropping way down the order. What's happened to him? He's in the pits. He's coming into the pits. Is he coming in for alternative tyres? It's full wet. Explicit Simo has gone onto full wet tyres for the last 3 laps. How necessary is that with 3 laps remaining? How wet is this track? I mean, I'm looking on board and it looks pretty damp, but none of the cars seem to be struggling too much in the braking zones and when they get back on the power. There doesn't seem to be much wobble in the cars. They seem to be holding out all right, but Explicissimo down in 14th now, but he's on the, so he's 21 seconds back. 21 seconds back. Is he hoping that everybody else goes in for wets and he moves further up? Or, as Cameron Poulter goes wide, not quite wide enough for Rose to sneak in, but that was wide enough just to make him think about it. The gap is now 0.3. Those two are still racing. Black Box, 5.8 seconds back, but he's got Skills Dan in the mirrors now. If we look back, that's Skills Dan and Chuckle just behind. Time penalty, another time penalty for Explicissimo, who's gone on to the wet compound tyres, and he's going to finish plumb last if nobody else decides to pit for wets, which it doesn't look like is going to happen. So here we go. This is the final battle for the championship, which at the minute is being resoundingly won by Chuckle. Zach Johnson making a move on Chuck. I saw Brothers and I saw him moving down and my heart came out my bumhole then. I genuinely thought it was a big move. He dropped down the order. Yeah, no, Skills definitely needs, and Chuckle makes the move, but Skills holds off and they crash. They both crash out of this race, and that automatically hands the championship to Chuckle Brothers. Chuckle Brothers will be your new champion. What that also does, though, that hands the Constructors' title into the hands of Red Bull. Now, was that instance going to have to be looked at again? Because that could have been affected by the weather. Was it just that neither of them could get grip and the wheels were spinning and they kind of crashed out? Or was that a deliberate kind of coming together? Was that a Lewis and Max moment where the pair of them just had a fit of rage and coming together? But what that has done is that has given the title, the championship title, handed to Chuckle Brothers. Obviously, that is subject to any penalties that are handed out, of course, because any penalties that are handed out, I assume, would come in a points variety at this stage of the season, would they not? Because neither will. I think if they crash out, they don't score points, do they not? Who knows? Anyway, in all that, Rose takes the lead of this championship. I did not expect it to end like that. Did not. I expected to be giving it some chuckle vision across the line, but I won't be. So Rose takes the lead from Cameron Poulter. He will win this race. Wow. So Red Bull now winning. Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, Red Bull now are the only car on the track, so they will win the Constructors. Was that a deliberate attempt by? Skills? I don't want to cast aspersions on anybody, of course. But was that an attempt to say, look, you know, I'm not going to win the championship here, but I definitely don't want to lose the Constructors. And who knows? Who knows? I don't think that they would do that. Of course they wouldn't. But I'm sure that'll get looked at many times by many people. I'm sure the stewards will look at it and make a decision. So Rose leads the way. He's going to win this race. This is the final lap of the race. Hasn't really put a foot wrong, Rose. Haven't seen much of him because we've been watching the battle for the championship unfold. But we're finishing under wet conditions. Cameron Poulter second. Black Box is in third. Dusty Fakes in fourth. Chuck is the most successful brother today. You can have it. I'll tell you what. You're one too. You only get half the theme tune because you only got half the name. There we go. In fifth place, Zach Johnson in sixth. David Barry cost himself by going in the pits and putting on the wrong tyres, and is now in seventh. Sean, the surviving Red Bull, just needs to get to the end of this race without crashing, and he will be a Constructors champion this season alongside Skills Dan, who is Constructors champion for the seventh time in a row. So here comes Rose. He's going to round the last 2 corners, goes through the DRS detection zone. Not that it's detecting anything right now. 1, because he's not within a second of another car, and 2, because it's raining. So Rose comes down. He will cross the line as the winner. Rose wins at Imola. Cameron Poulter comes across the line in 2nd place. Black Box in 3rd. Dusty Fakes home in 4th. Chuck Brothers will come home in 5th place. Zach Johnson. No, the penalties come into play. And he's in a wall. He's in a wall. He has crossed the line, but he's in a wall. Shan wasted, David Barry, Barbarian Explicitissimo. But there is your winner. Absolutely brilliant performance from him to win this. But there we go. So, I'm assuming that at some stage there will be stewards looking at bits and pieces. But I think I can securely say this. Your champion for the season, and I can't even show you his car because there are broken bits of it everywhere, is Chuckle Brothers. He is your Season 7 champion. Skills Dan is the Season 7 runners-up, but the Constructors' Championship goes to the Red Bull team of Skills Dan and TTG Sean. Dusty Fakes rounds out the top 3 for the championship. How's about that then? And I will be joining you very soon, Dunners. I just need to speak to these dudes. Driver of the day, Cameron Poulter. I'll go with that. He made some big moves. Got himself up the order. Yeah, well, I want to have a quick chat, if I can, with the guys. It has to be a quick one. I don't think I've got time to do it. I might do the interviews before the race number 1 if I can. Just because I've got another race to go to in 10 minutes time, and I really need to have a piss. So, well, there's your winner, Rose, won that race. But congratulations to, first of all, your champion. And this will be the tune they'll play instead of the... Yeah, congratulations to Chuckle Brothers, who wins the championship from Skills Dan, and then it was, what's his name? Dusty, to round out the top 3. So, quick rundown on the final order from the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. Rose from McLaren wins from Cameron Poulter. Black Box from Dusty Fake. Zach Johnson from Sean in 6th. Sean from Red Bull gives them that Constructors title. Chuck comes home in 7th ahead of Shan in the AlphaTauri. Wasted in the AMG ahead of David Barry and the Aston Martin in 10th. Barbarian from McLaren in 11th. 12th is Explicitissimo. And then Chuck Brothers, Skills Down, Def Peacock, Lee Craig, Panda and Naismith all out with a did not finish. How about that? I just squeezed it in. Okay. So there we go, done and dusted. What a run, what a finish to the season that was. What a finish to an awesome season. And of course we'll be back very shortly for season 8. I don't know how many it is, but I'm sure it'll be very soon. It's been a brilliant season. I'm gutted I wasn't here for the beginning of this one, but I will be for the beginning of season number 8. We're back with Smoking Pirellis on Thursday for the Tier 1 finale, which is at Portimao. Looking forward to seeing if Rose, today's winner Rose, can round out that championship. But today, Rose was your winner, but today is all about Red Bull, Constructors Champions, and all about Chuckle Brothers, who came into this 9 points clear and did exactly what he needed to do, which is keep Skills Dan in his sights. And despite them both crashing out, he will be crowned champion of the world forever and ever. So all that's left to say really is thank you very much for joining me all season. It's been really cool. I've been Urban Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV, and yeah, it's been emotional.